was a huge crowd outside the British Museum. Into the British Museum. The Greek-style column building outside the main hall is both solemn and sacred, as if it had been baptized by God. It is like a wise old man. Its heart is filled with thousands of words, but it wants to say them. The mottled light and shadow on the pillars seem to confirm the cycle of history. The steps were carved with the marks of age. The huge stone covers everything, like the stars in the sky, containing the wonders of the world. All kinds of ancient relics from different regions are displayed here. For example, there are Rosetta Stone tablets and list of Egyptian pharaohs from the ancient Egyptian region. There's the treasure house of Atris from the Arab Middle East. There are also admonitions from Asia. So how did these different kinds of sculptures and portraits from various regions come into the audience's vision step by step from so far east? This is inseparable from the role of the ancient land Silk Road, which started from the city of Chang'an in China in the east, passed through Central Asia, West Asia and Africa to the Roman Empire. It crossed the three continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe, and people of different races and regions gathered together to do business, discuss academia, collide and integrate different beliefs, and produce new regimes and splendid cultures. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun was setting. The Sogdians were coming, accompanied by Leisure Camel Bell. They rode camels out of the vast quicksand, through time and space, into reality. Suddenly, the desert wind blew open the door of the Silk Road Museum. Looking around, the crowded crowd is constantly discussing various cultural relics. Perhaps it was Sogdians' tenacity that allowed them cross between the East and the West. The faith and culture went to the whole world. Presented before our eyes is a beautiful mural from Samarkand, the capital of Uzbekistan. This mural was discovered in the Ambassador's Hall at the Afrasiab site in the ancient city of Samarkand, Uzbekistan. Samarkand is located in the Transoxiana region, between the Amu Darya and the Sire Darya. Historically, this area was called Sogdiana, and its residents were called Sogdians. Here is an important hub on the ancient Silk Road, connecting the trade and cultural exchanges between the East and the West. The mural was painted in the period of Emperor Gaozong of the Tang dynasty in the past. That is, during the period of the 9 Sogdian clans in 662. It is concentrated in a square room with a side length of 11 meters. After Emperor Gaozong's dedicated governance and vigorous military preparations, the territory of the Tang dynasty at this time had reached its zenith. Envoys, commoners, monks, believers and high-ranking officials from surrounding countries all came to Chang'an, the political center of the Tang dynasty, to pay homage. Sure enough, on the way to pay homage, there is a group of people called the Sogdians. They crossed grasslands and deserts and introduced Zoroastrianism to the Tang dynasty at that time. At that time, They were collectively referred to as the Nine Surnames of Zhaowu by the people who had long lived in the Central Plains and the rulers. The Sogdian civilization is located in present-day Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and is at a key position on the Silk Road. From here, the Sogdians began trade spanning thousands of kilometers from the northern grasslands to India, from China to the Mediterranean. In 1965, the Soviet archaeological team unearthed the Ambassador Hall of King Fuhuman of Sogdiana in the Tang Dynasty, with murals in room 23 of Afrasiab site in the ancient city of Samarkand, in present-day Uzbekistan. Later, these precious archaeological discoveries aroused extensive attention and research in the international academic community. Under the background of international cultural exchanges and academic cooperation, this mural was loaned for exhibitions or studied in museums of different countries through legal cultural exchange channels, including the relevant exhibitions or research cooperation of the British Museum on the murals of the Ambassador Hall in Samarkand. This colorful mural depicts scenes of court activities of the Sogdians and also reflects their extensive trade relations. Although the upper part of the mural has not been preserved, from the remaining part, the complex composition of the original work can be seen. It reflects the worldview of the Sogdian aristocratic group. This part shows the ceremonial procession for a journey. The close ministers and attendants of Samarkand's ruler, Fuhuman, are on their way to the temple to hold sacrifices for his ancestors. There are guards, priests, and people of noble status. Some people are riding horses, camels, and elephants. These animals reflect the extensive trade network of the Sogdians. The woman riding an elephant in the front row of the procession is considered to be Fuhuman's wife. The three women sitting sideways on horses are his concubines. Riding on camels are two Turkic warriors with high noses, deep eyes, and wearing silk scarves on their heads. However, immediately following are two priests wearing patams and leading horses. They place their right hands on their chests and hold swords tightly in their left hands. With firm gazes and looking into the distance, it is as if they are praying for something. They place their right hands on their chests and hold swords tightly in their left hands. It can be inferred that horses are dedicated to the god Mitra, and birds are dedicated to the god Zervan. Perhaps the newly decorated horse has a double meaning in the mural. From the perspective of sacrifice, it is a sacrificial offering. From the perspective of the Nowruz festival celebration, it is a bridge connecting the yin and yang worlds. The horse is not only the mount of the living, but also provides a vivid image for the dead to enter the afterlife. Here is another intriguing detail. In the central scene of the complete mural, people from different regions are paying tribute to Fuhu. Some of them come from neighboring countries, and some come from the distant Tang dynasty and the Korean peninsula. In the complete murals, there are also scenes about the courts of India and the Tang dynasty. This painting reflects the Sogdians' belief that they are an indispensable part of the Silk Road. Regarding color application, the employed technique is to apply pastel colors on a dry background. The pigments are all derived from organic substances or minerals. The blue color comes from lapis lazuli, and the red color from cinnabar. In accordance with the convention of Sogdian murals, green is not utilized. Furthermore, in the painting, some characters have darker complexions than others. The latter are entirely white-skinned. Some people speculate that those white-skinned characters may be the Athalites. They are referred to as White Huns in some documents. Of the Tang dynasty and the Sogdian, people continue to settle in the Central Plains. Cultural beliefs, costumes, weapons and armor, dance art, language, fine horses and precious accessories from the western regions have also been introduced into China. For example, the Persian riding coat and gaiters were brought to China by the Sogdians and were made of fine cashmere with extended sleeves for easy riding. With the armies of the Tang dynasty entering Central Asia, Fergana horses were in great shortage for soldiers in the Tang dynasty. At that time, generals and soldiers of the Tang dynasty had to exchange silk from the Central Plains for horses of the Sogdians. For the soldiers' intense love for horses, many soldiers cast their horses into models using copper or iron. This lively statue represents a Bactria, double-hump camels, used as a burden of beasts in Central Asia, are essential for desert travel. Camels are part of caravans carrying goods, which are common in the market of Chang'an, the capital of the Tang dynasty. Among these ceramic figurines, the bearded man represents people from Central Asia or West Asia. The posture of a larger example indicates that he was once shown leading a horse or a camel. The smaller figure is a vendor, hunched over with his head down, selling goods. This darker skinned figure represents a Southeast Asian who was enslaved by merchants, traded, and brought to Guangzhou in southern China. In the murals and sculptures, we can still clearly see how open, inclusive, united, and prosperous the Tang dynasty was at that time. In the Tang dynasty, a large number of Sogdians entered the Central Plains from Central Asia to serve as officials. Common people and merchants foot. This also laid a deep basics for the Anxi rebellion in the future, and the secession and chaos imposed by the Tang dynasty. In the early days of Tianbao in the Tang dynasty, due to the excessive power and the use of bold generals by the Tang dynasty monarch, these Hu generals and mercenary soldiers were self-respecting and did not listen to the orders of the court. The outbreak of Anxi rebellion made the Tang dynasty turn from prosperity to decline. Subsequent rulers were thus unable to control the western territories. The areas outside Yumen Pass lost contact with the Central Plains. The long quicksand buried the trail of the Silk Road. Only the incomplete murals remain, which confirms the back of the Silk Road and the last elegy of the Tang dynasty. The camel caravan has gone far away. Sogdians are like dazzling stars, lighting up the historical sky. However, they are also like lighting, submerging in the long river of history. Only the receding figure witnessed the legendary Silk Road at that time.